Welcome to Letter to Louie with Abby Algiers. Welcome, Abby.
Hi, Sally. Thank you.
We're taping this next segment in November, and as you brought to my attention, this is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month for our entire United States here. And there really isn't too much really out there in the media about this as of late. We're taping this on November 10th here, so it certainly is after the election, and I realize that's been taking up a lot of the media. But it's curious that when we were discussing what we were going to talk about and what letter we were going to share, that your father had written that this came up for you.
Right.
And it's just
seems timely.
Yes.
And timely any time of the year.
Yes.
But since most of the, attention is usually focused on prostate cancer awareness at this time, it seems like a good time to talk about it.
I think it's perfect. And your father had shared that with me, but let's go ahead and read the letter and then we'll talk about that after.
Great. Thank you. Blindsided. Dear Louie, you may be gone, but I need you to listen, to smile, to understand. And so I again write to you, my friend, to guide me at this time of true trial and tribulation, as I guided you through your prolonged trip through the valley of tears. Imagine just one day when suddenly one is faced with the potential for true mortality, when one must pause, look at oneself and say that the weight of evidence is stating, not suggesting, that you are mortal, that you have turned the corner, and weighty evidence suggests you will die soon. No longer sometime, no longer in the future, but unless the lab data is askew, the date is probably soon, much sooner than one was led to believe just a few days ago. Suddenly on one day in the fall, everything fell apart with the lab result of a very high PSA. A sevenfold result from an elevated baseline 9 months ago, a baseline with reference that most old men might expect a diagnosis of carcinoma of the prostate if they live long enough. Well, I have not lived long enough. 88 is not enough. However, suddenly I was faced with the facts that suggested that perhaps 88 was enough, was all that was granted or will be granted. Suddenly time stood still. Suddenly the wetness of my palms was not sunshine and warmth, but fear and anxiety. I was frightened, fearful, and suddenly very vulnerable. The lab data was mine. The name on the paper was mine. Not a patient, not a case study. It was mine. It mattered little that the urologist stated, "You have had a long life." He might well have said, "What do you expect, immortality?" I responded, "Perhaps I did." I might have stated, "How do I get more?" It has taken a few days to come to some conclusion. At least I think I have come to some conclusion. I am asymptomatic at present, except for the protestantism of frequency, hesitancy, and dribbling. I have no bone pain, no nodes, and minimal age-related aches and pains, but nothing of major magnitude. I am and will remain optimistic. I will have a biopsy in 10 days, and then I will join the ranks of other optimists, realists, and pessimists as I address the potential of a few more months. And as I ask, why me? A voice in the background answers, why not you? That, Louis, is my problem. But Louis, that is not my problem alone. I have heard the question time and time again, and all the vagaries of presentation to the age-old question of why me and why now end with the answer, why not? I believe there is no one to be spared, but there are damn few of us who have blind acceptance to fate or whatever one might call participation in the human equation and all its vagaries. So Louis, now in the eternal location of heaven, hell, or whatever, if only we here had some insight into whatever awaits us on departure, perhaps the journey here would be easier at times like this. I would hope so. And until later, I remain Jim.
his words again are so articulate, and I feel like his presence is here.
I completely do too.
So when this was written in 2014, and I remember at the time we were actively doing the letters and also doing some of his research that he did, obviously being in the medical field and being in a small community. But when he came forward and told me about this and had decided that he was going to fight it, I thought, good for you, because that is something that's given to patients from the physician, and it is their decision. But to be told, well, did you think you were going to be alive forever? Now you have to take healthcare into your own hands. And I do believe, and I hope our viewers can hear that, being an advocate for your health is very important.
Right. It's something he always pushed. You
Yes.
have to be an advocate for yourself. You have to watch out for yourself, have the screenings, take care of yourself, and if something comes up, you find the best solution and you fight.
Right.
That was my mom and dad always did.
And I remember when he was in treatment and he actually shared with our audience what he was going through and the hormonal changes that he was experiencing. And then I think even more empathizing with females with their emotional journeys and the crying that he had and the hot flashes.
Right.
And he kind of was, had a good sense of humor about it. He definitely came into a whole nother level of awareness.
Oh.
At 88, 89. I mean, who
Completely.
does that?
I know.
Your dad
Completely.
did that. And that's just
Totally.
amazing. And I'm so glad that we can share these with our audience. I think it's so important to reflect on that, and the fact that you were able to find this piece for Prostate Cancer Awareness Month for November here is fantastic.
Right. And I think it's something not just to take in stride, but
Right.
whoever's listening or watching, just to, whatever health condition a person might be going through or think they have, just to keep the faith and do what you need to do to fight it.
Exactly. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And to our viewers, as always, thank you for watching.